Hello and welcome to Correro, where we dissect the issues that shape our politics, policies, and people. I am Godwin Sunday, and today we are taking a look at one of the most pressing concerns on the continent, and that issue is our healthcare journey. Well, across Africa, it is an all too familiar story. Every year, thousands leave our shores in search of medical care, from advanced surgeries to routine checkups, spending billions of dollars abroad. But beneath those numbers lies a deeper pain, the loss of confidence in our own healthcare systems. Hospitals once known for excellence now struggle with poor infrastructure, shortage of personnel, and outdated equipment. Yet, in the midst of all of this, hope is being rekindled. Well, several African governments, including Nigerian, have begun revising their medical tourism campaigns, investing in technology, training health professionals, and building modern facilities aimed at restoring trust in local care. The big question is, are these renewed efforts making a real difference, or are they simply another layer of rhetoric that fades with time? This evening on Correro, we'll be exploring the revised medical tourism campaigns in Africa, and to help us unpack this journey in Africa is the person of Issa Usman, who is a medical tourism expert. He will walk us through the impact, the progress, and the gaps that still remains. Well, stay with us as the conversation begins shortly after this break. Well, you're welcome back. Well, it's a delight to have you join us on Correro, Issa Usman.
Thank you, my brother. Nice meeting you again on the show.
Well, today, the NBA, Nigerian Medical, MNA, Nigerian Medical Association,
NMA.
NMA, they did a conference here in the Federal Capital Territory. And part of their discussion and conversation borders on revised medical tourism. But let me bring this. What prompted the recent waves of revised medical tourism campaigns in Africa? And which countries in Africa are currently taking the lead?
Well, I went there purposely because of the theme of the program, which is reversing medical tourism. I'm a medical tourism specialist, and the topic drew my attention. I went there to see what they are going to discuss about the topic. To me, reversing medical tourism is a strange word, because it's only Nigeria that you'll be hearing reversing medical tourism. I've been hearing this for a long time. From what I know, the word reverse means to undo or move backward. So in all form of medical tourism we have, there is nothing like reversing medical tourism. Before I answer your question properly, we have to even know what is medical tourism. Medical tourism simply means traveling from where one is residing or where one is living to another destination in the quest for quality or specialized medical treatments. And it is a global practice that involves patient referral, whether within the country or outside the country, for quality and specialized medical treatments. So medical tourism is the global practice. It's only Nigeria that you'll be hearing reversing medical tourism. You know, we have three forms of medical tourism. We have intrabound, we have inbound, and we have outbound medical tourism. Intrabound medical tourism has to do with people traveling from where they are residing to another location in the quest for quality and specialized medical treatment. While outbound medical tourism has to do with people travel outside the country in the quest for quality treatments. And while inbound has to do with people coming from another country to our own country, for example, for medical treatment. For example, people coming from UK, Togo, Mali, Uganda to Nigeria to receive medical attention. That is inbound medical tourism. So there is nothing like reversing medical tourism. And a country must be known for one or two. For example, Nigeria is known for outbound medical tourism. So we refer patients abroad for medical treatment. So if we want to embrace medical tourism, instead of using reversing medical tourism, it's good that we use medical evacuation instead of reversing medical tourism. Because if other countries are hearing us saying reversing medical tourism, they will look at us as unserious people. Because medical tourism is supposed to be two-way things. As people are going, people will be coming. So who are we to even stop medical tourism? If citizens of US can travel in good numbers outside US to receive medical attention, so who are we?
All right, so let me get you correctly. In this expo organized by the Nigerian Medical Association, we had the wife of the president, Senator Oluremi Tinubu. We had the Minister of Health, Professor Mohammed Ali Pate. We had the FCT Minister, the person of Nyesom Wike. We had Dr. Bala Mohammed Audu and Dr. Tunji Olowolafe and the rest of them. Are you saying at this point in time that the organizers of this event do not know their honors, or they didn't understand what the entire tourism space is all about? Hence, they came out with this topic, revising medical tourism.
Yeah, what I thought that what makes them to come up with this is because of the rate of people traveling abroad for Medicare and what we are losing to outbound medical tourism. You know, it's no longer in news that Nigeria is losing no less than $2 billion to outbound medical tourism annually. And the entire Africa loses over $2 billion to outbound medical tourism annually. So it means Nigeria alone constitutes 70 to 80% of the expenditure. Now the question is, how long will Nigeria and the Africa economy continue to bleed this way? So if they really want to key into medical tourism, so reversing medical tourism is not a proper word to use. What I'm saying is that when we say we are reversing medical tourism, I've interacted with some of them that, what do you mean by reversing medical tourism? They say people are going abroad and want them to start receiving treatment here. And there's a claim that what people are going abroad to get, we can offer it, you understand, in Nigeria, that there are specialized medical centers here and there that can handle most of these specialized cases that they are taking abroad. Now, the question is this: even though there is centers that can handle some of these complicated cases, there are not many. There are not many. And besides, we have about 11 driving factors for medical tourism, as you know. So it's not because we cannot handle some of these cases here that people travel abroad. Apart of availability of treatment, you know that we have affordability of treatments. Treatment can be available and the treatment may not be affordable. We have accessibility of treatment. Treatment can be available, it can be affordable, and the treatment may not be accessible. I'm talking of the waiting time to get the treatments. Then we have poor success rate, lack of trust, attitude of medical personnel towards patients, medical negligence, medical malpractice, medication error, and healthcare fraud. So these are other factors. Apart from we don't have good hospitals or don't have equipments, there are other factors. So you can have everything and people don't trust what you are doing. They can go to where there is high trust. So the word reversing medical tourism is not the right word. What they have to be using is medical evacuation. And medical evacuation is supposed to be two-way things. It's not supposed to be one-way thing. It's because Nigeria is more of one-way thing. That is why people are kicking against it and people are complaining about it. As Nigerians are going out to receive treatment, people are supposed to all be coming from other countries to Nigeria to receive medical care.
All right. While interacting with few of the medical doctors at the Expo Center, one word seems very strange to even a vast majority of them that came for the Expo, and that word is medical tourism, even in Nigeria. But then, when you look at it critically, our healthcare system, from the School of Medicine to the post school scenario, classroom scenario, if you have permit us to use that word, have we been able to internalize the concept around medical tourism to its barest minimum? Do our medical students and practitioners understand what medical tourism is all about?
Yeah, to me, even not medical tourism, entrepreneurial aspect of medical has to be introduced in our colleges, in our universities, in our medical schools in Nigeria. The reason why I say so,
that will be different from pharmaceutical.
Yeah, the reason why I say so is not far-fetched. If you in Nigeria, you see most of our hospitals in Nigeria are owned by medical personnel and run by medical personnel and it's our family. And it's not supposed to be so, because in law they say you cannot give what you don't have. That is why you see many of our doctors who go and obtain loan, go and collect loan and establish hospital. At the end of everything, the hospital will wind up, and the next thing they will sell their equipment and run out of the country. So it's because they don't have the knowledge of the entrepreneurial aspect of medical. So I advised that Nigeria government should put this into consideration, either by introducing an entrepreneurial aspect of medical in our schools. If you go in our universities, if you go abroad like Turkey, India, Thailand, Singapore, Mexico, Ukraine, UK, Canada, their entrepreneurial aspect of medical is in their curriculum, and they are running it in most of their medical colleges.
All right. So let's talk in terms of this whole medical tourism in Nigeria, and by extension, Africa. When we look at it again critically, this conversation of reversing medical tourism, I'm curious, if we reverse medical tourism,
Port of correction, there's nothing like reversing medical tourism.
You said there's nothing like reversing.
The word is annoying.
You say there is nothing like, but the Nigerian Medical Association have come out to say, of course, there is a word called reversing medical tourism.
So
and their authority when it has to do with the Nigerian medical space. And I won't want to go against what they've established the fact that they want to, by what they interpret and define the reverse medical tourism as, is that they want to stop people from traveling out of the country. And by so doing, that by definition they've given, it is a reversal of medical tourism that is stopping outbound. But then, when we look at this, does it hold any economic value to Nigeria?
Like if you use a proper word, medical evacuation, stop using medical tourism.
I didn't initiate the word. The word was initiated. That's why I asked you if the conference that is being attended by the wife of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Minister of Health, and other stakeholders attended that meeting. You were saying that they are wrong in terms of saying reversing medical tourism. Rather, they should use the word evacuation. So you're saying that every scholar that sat in that hall were all sitting on a wrong premise. And if yes, looking at it on tourism evacuation as you have propounded,
medical
evacuation as you have propounded, can we then say at this point in time that all of this put together holds any economic value for Nigeria?
Yeah, the concept of it is a good concept, but the title they give to the theme of the program, that is not proper, because if any countries are hearing about we saying reversing medical tourism, it will sound strange to them, and the side effect of it is that it's like we don't know what we are saying. You understand? Because I mentioned the three forms of health tourism we have, which is intrabound, which is also known as domestic medical tourism, inbound, which means people coming to our country to receive medical care, then outbound, which has to do with people travel abroad to obtain quality and specialized medical treatment. So where reversing medical tourism comes in here? Because we don't have 4 or 5 forms of tourism or health tourism. We have 3. And there's no room for reversing medical tourism.
Well, Nigerian has come up with its own concept.
So I don't think...
We've tried to internalize the concept right now.
So what is even reverse? Like as I say, reverse means to be something, to move backward.
They've defined it as stopping people from going out of the country.
Can you stop people not to go out?
But we can put infrastructures in place to ensure that people don't go out.
Even though there is diffraction, people still travel abroad. If you go to India today, many of the top-ranking doctors were trained in US, UK, Canada, Thailand, Singapore, Mexico. But the citizens of US travel to Malaysia, travel to Turkey for medical attention. So where are we not to travel abroad? And most of the equipment they are using in some of the top-ranking medical tourism destinations were manufactured in India. Sorry, were manufactured in US. Supplied to the world. But because of the accessibility of some of their treatments, I'm talking of the waiting time, their citizens travel abroad for Medicare. So if you are saying that you want to stop medical tourism, it's like a daydream that you can never, it can never be true.
So let's speak to the economic value and importance of all of this reversal of medical tourism. Will it further accelerate Nigerian, in terms of its GDP? Will it further help us to grow internally if we reserve and conserve cash even within Nigeria?
Reversing medical, I don't know what you are saying. Because I've been telling you that reversing medical tourism is not a proper word. If you come out with...
So let's say for the purpose of this, of today's, of Korero, let's adopt what the Nigerian Medical Association has given to us. And let's talk in line with that concept. Of course, you've said that that word doesn't exist within the tourism framework, health tourism framework. Yeah. But then let's work with the definition and the whole concept that they've given to us and not try to even demystify the concept.
See, to set the record straight, what we should be doing this time is for us to start working on how to have appeal of medical tourism. You know, we have driving factors, and that is what is common in Nigeria. We have driving factors for medical tourism. And what are the driving factors? One, availability of treatment, affordability of treatment, accessibility of treatment, acceptability of treatment, poor success rate, lack of trust, attitude of medical personnel towards patients, medical negligence, medical malpractice, medication errors, and so on. These are the driving factors. That is what is making people to live where they are staying to another location, whether within the country or outside the country, for quality and specialized medical treatment. So now the appeal of medical is what is motivating people to go to a particular destination. For example, now you have a tenant that is selling Indomie, and your children want to eat spaghetti, and your tenant don't have, is that maybe the shop is close to your house, and your children want to eat spaghetti and is selling Indomie. So you can go elsewhere, you understand, and get it. So Indomie, when they have that Indomie selling, so is Indomie that place they have what is appealing to you. That is where you go and get. So now coming back to medical tourism. For example, now we have a patient that is having breast cancer and he need to undergo oncoplastic surgery, and there's no hospital in Abuja, for example, that can do oncoplastic surgery, and there is a hospital in Lagos that oncoplastic surgery can be done. So the patient has to go there. So in going there now, to Abuja people now is a factor, is a driving factor to them. But Lagos, if they have it, it's an appeal to them. So what is appealing to people? You know, the opposite of driving factors is appeal. So appeal is the opposite of driving factors. What you don't have, that people are going up elsewhere to get it. So means those places, the places, the destinations that has what people are liking, that are going there, is appealing to them.
All right. So right now, let's come back to look at the campaigns in general. Of course, Nigeria is taking the lead of saying, hey, Africans should not travel out. Rather, Africans should grow. What should you call appeals? What should be used to attend to Africans in terms of the old machines, equipment, and what have you within the medical space? But look at this in terms of this whole campaign. Will it further accelerate our financial gains in Africa in general?
Yeah, there is a lot of benefit Nigeria key into medical tourism. And it may surprise you to know that why Nigeria is...
Going by the concept of the NMA.
I don't really understand their concepts.
Stopping people from traveling.
Is it...
Rather supporting inbound medical tourism.
Oh, yeah, now you are talking. If you are talking about inbound medical tourism, you know there are stages for medical tourism.
But they are saying that they want to stop the outbound. They want to stop the outbound. They want to support more of inbound. People coming into Nigeria. People don't go out of the shores of Nigeria to receive medical services. Rather, they want to encourage people to come in more into the country.
It's very simple. If they want people to come to receive medical attention in Nigeria, it's very simple. The next things, the best things to do is to improve our standard of care. When you improve our standard of care, definitely people will start coming on their own for medical attention. But there is a stage. The stage one is that Nigerians has to develop what we call intraband, domestic medical tourism for its citizens to start enjoying it first. Because day in, day out, many of our healthcare seekers, I mean our local healthcare seekers, keep on complaining not being able to have access to quality and specialized medical treatments. So the citizens, they have to develop sustainable medical tourism for the citizens first. So when the citizens start enjoying, then we cannot go out and announce to the general public or people outside Nigeria to come to Nigeria and benefiting what the citizens are benefiting from.
So invariably you say we're not ripe for this campaign.
No.
We're not ripe for the campaign.
And another thing again, when you even develop for your citizens and enjoying, then you have to start looking for how to go for international accreditation. Now, in my research so far now, I don't really see, there may be very few. I don't think there are international accredited, GCI, Joint Commission International, you understand, is a body that accredit and regulate the activities of all the world-class hospitals in the whole world. I don't know if there is any accredited hospitals, the GCI accredited hospitals in Nigeria, because most of the hospitals as well in Nigeria, the accreditation is more of local accreditation. And it's one of the criteria to bring patients from abroad to our healthcare for quality treatments. So even though we are very good, if you know that you are good, go for international accreditation. From there, you will not know whether you are good or not. So you can't be here and tell us that what people are going abroad or going elsewhere to get, you can equally get it here. If you can get it here, go for international accreditations. So we people like us, we are ready to work. We are ready to work with them. If I know right now, if I know that there is a JCI accredited hospital, Joint Commission International in Nigeria, I won't mind to volunteer and start even working for them and start dragging patients from all of different countries to the center. It does not mean when the hospital is, whether is in Amulet or is in the bush. Once they are GCI accredited, we believe that they are okay and they are ready for business.
All right, Issa, what is the relationship of Nigerian medical tourism experts and the Nigerian Medical Association as it stands right now?
Yeah, the issue there is that, you know, for example, as we speak now, there are aspects of medicine that our local healthcare service providers are doing well, excellently well, which is the area of IVF. Time without numbers, hospitals from India, from Turkey, from Thailand, from Singapore, from Ukraine, from Jordan, from Pakistan, they do call me, Mr. Usman, send IVF patient to us. I told them they should stop calling me for IVF. IVF is no more marketable in Nigeria because our local healthcare service providers are doing excellent job in that area. So, and we are promoting, we have started promoting IVF to other countries to come to Nigeria and access, and it's very cheap. If you go abroad for IVF, you get it in whoopee sum of money, but Nigeria with less amount, you can get IVF perfectly, excellently in Nigeria. at low cost?
Well, I'm asking that question in order to ask. It tends to be that there have been a sour relationship between members of the Nigerian, of the Medical Tourism Expert Forum, or FOIA, and the Nigerian Medical Association. Why I say that is most times the Nigerian Medical Association don't tend to agree with medical tourism experts. In turn, the medical tourism experts don't tend to also agree with some of the submission proffered by the Nigerian Medical Association. So there tend to be a loggerhead to a very large extent again. The Nigerian Medical Association does not even want to recognize or admit that there should be some form of forum for medical tourism experts like yourself, because they don't tend to recognize such organization or bodies as they exist. So that I'm curious at this point. Is it that the Nigerian Medical Association does not like the Nigerian medical, tourism, medical health tourism experts, or the reverse is the case? That's on one hand. On the other hand, can we say that the medical tourism experts are deliberately attacking the Nigerian Medical Association because they are not being carried along or recognized by this body? Because the relationship tends to be on it tends to be on a low. Bring us up to speed. What is the relationship?
So they need to be informed. The issue there is that there needs to be their understanding and the orientations about health tourism has to be changed, because most of our local healthcare service providers, I'm sorry to say this, they have one-sided knowledge of medical tourism.
But does the Nigerian Medical Tourism, the Nigerian Medical Association and the medical tourism expert, are they in tandem? Are they working in tandem, or they're working on different edge?
Yeah, to answer your question properly is that the association, or not the, even I can say it in general, let me not limited it to NMA alone. I'm generalizing it to all our local healthcare service providers. Their knowledge about health tourism is one-sided knowledge, because the reason why I say so is not far-fetched. If you ask them, what do they understand about medical tourism? They'll simply say medical tourism is not about traveling abroad for medical treatments. So this school of thought has narrowed down medical tourism to outbound medical tourism only. So many times, if I meet them, introducing myself to them as a medical tourism specialist, they feel intimidated. They feel bad about my choosing career. They thought that I'm a threat to their means of livelihood. And the reason why they have that kind of thought is because of what they are known about medical tourism is all about traveling out. Whenever some of them ready to give listening ear, whenever I start analyzing about medical tourism to them, they say, wow, so they don't know about this, they don't know about that. But there are some of them that they don't like to give listening ear because already they have negative impression about medical tourism. So, and the question I always ask is that, even though medical tourism is all about traveling abroad for medical treatments, by their own definition, let's go by their own definition, is Nigeria not abroad that people will be coming to receive medical treatments? For example, if a patient is coming from Uganda to Nigeria now for treatment, you say that he's going to abroad, right? If a patient is coming from US, UK to Nigeria now, they will say that they will be going to abroad. So even though the medical tourism is all about traveling abroad, Nigeria is abroad. So all we need to do is to work on the appeal of medical tourism,
so that it stands right now, there's a silent war going on between the Nigerian Medical Association and the medical tourism specialists.
Well, there's nothing like war there. It's all about them giving listening ear.
So in a situation where they are not
knowledge of medical tourism,
they are not listening to the Nigerian tourism, medical tourism professionals like yourself, and Nigerian medical professionals feel that they are wrong. And at this point in time, there is a loggerhead. Should we say there is some form of rift between the Nigerian Medical Association and the Nigerian medical tourism professionals?
Do we really have much of home-based medical tourism facilitators? Because most of these facilitators come from abroad. I don't really even know my colleague in Nigeria. So I'm the one at the forefront of promoting medical tourism in Nigeria. Because time without number, many of our local healthcare service providers ask me, Usman, you say you are promoting medical tourism. Is it inbound or outbound? They don't even know, some of them don't even know that there is intrabound. I'll say all encompassing. They say how? I say I'm promoting medical tourism both inbound, intrabound, and outbound. For example, now, you know, there's no hospital in Nigeria that can do liver transplant. There's no hospital in Nigeria that can do heart transplant. There's no hospital in Nigeria that can do hip pec surgery. There's no hospital in Nigeria that can do robotic surgery. So if you have a patient...
Let's allege on those things, because
so if you have
I
a
understand
patient,
that a
for
lot of
example,
Nigerian hospitals right now are living up to certain responsibilities.
But as at the moment, there's no hospital that can do heart transplant or liver transplant in Nigeria.
Allegedly.
So now, if we have patients that have Charles case, are we going to leave the patient to die? For example, if you have a patient that is have liver transplant, that need liver transplant, and there's no hospital in Nigeria that can do liver transplant, we're going to leave the patient to die. So now, this concept, like I told you, medical evacuation is supposed to be two-way things. As Nigeria is going out, people will also be coming to Nigeria to receive medical treatments.
At the end of
there are some cases that can be handling in Nigeria. So that is why, do you know, let me even tell you this. It may interest you to hear what I want to tell you. Do you know that economic situation in Nigeria has brought opportunity for Nigerians, local healthcare service providers, to take advantage of it? All they need is those to take advantage of it. Because now many people cannot afford to travel abroad for medical treatments. So instead of we busy condemning medical tourism, say we are reversing medical tourism, say we are putting an end to medical tourism, is it not better we start working on the appeal of medical tourism, start working on start improving in our standard of care? Let me even shock you. Do you know that in Nigeria, our cable wire is one of the best in the world, and Nigeria are really patronizing it. The quality is top notch. Nigeria are patronizing our even ceramic, our ties. Nigeria are really patronizing it because we have the best tie and we have the best cable wire in the world. So at times some Nigerians will go to where they are selling all this wire. They say, you have Nigeria wire. So all we need is to improve our standard of care. Then people will start access quality treatment. Those that don't believe in receiving treatment in Nigeria will start receiving treatments here. And outsiders will start coming to Nigeria to receive medical attention. So all we need is to improve our standard of care.
Okay, so let's talk. How correct is it to say that facilitators in Africa in general are part of the reason why medical tourism in Africa tend to be a one-sided conversation? Every African want to travel out, but a lot of Africans don't talk about even exploring internal measures. And this is as a result of facilitators across Africa. How correct is this narrative?
No, the issue is that we have to start working on things that will bring trust to our health sector. You know, we lack trust. That is why you see even professor of medicine at times travel abroad for Medicare. They don't even believe in some of their colleagues to treat them in Nigeria. So if professor of medicine can travel abroad for Medicare, so what is the fate of common men? So, you know, the issue there is that you cannot proffer solution to problem that you don't have, that you don't know the root cause. It seems, I'm sorry to use this word, it seems that our local healthcare service providers and those at the helms of affairs, they don't really even know the root cause of the problem or the challenges we are facing in our health sector. So you are
saying, as it stands right now, across Africa, that the facilitators are not even applying just one route? by ensuring that a lot of Africans go out to receive medical attention, but we don't find a way to bring people back to Africa to receive medical attention.
That is not what I say. You are getting me wrong.
So let's get
what I'm trying to say is that you say your children shouldn't go out to eat outside. So what do you need to do? To provide food for them. So if you have children and they are going outside they are hungry and they are going outside to eat. So what you need to do is to provide food for your children.
So when the accusation is facilitators and medical tourism experts have been on the forefront of championing the cause of Africans traveling outside the shores of Africa to receive medical treatment, but they don't make frantic effort in order to attract other people that also need medical attention to Africa. When we look at all of this, how correct is it that medical tourism professionals and specialists, facilitators as it were, are large part of the problem why a lot of Africans travel abroad to seek medical attention?
We are not the problem. We are just facilitators. And anywhere there is quality and specialized medical treatments, we refer patients there. So if it is Nigeria, for example, I use the case of IVF. Some countries calling us to send IVF patients to them, and we say that it's not marketable. It's not marketable in Nigeria because we have a lot of medical personnel, IVF doctors that are very good and they are doing excellently well in Nigeria. And we have started referring patients to some of them. For example, you know Dr. Wada of NISAC Premier is doing wonderfully well. And we have identified with him, and as we speak now, we have started drawing the attention of healthcare seekers, IVF healthcare seekers to NISAC Premier. So if we identify maybe there is any neurosurgeon, any neuro-orthopedic center that is doing excellently well in Nigeria, then we'll start referring patients to, we'll start recommending the center to the patient. But since we have been talking, you have not even you have not even talking about the government. You know, government has a vital role, you understand, to play in all these issues we are discussing. For example, now is that, do you know that in Nigeria, our policy are not supportive? Most of our policy lack implementation. And policy without implementation is like a new a new car, or a car without fuel, or a car without drivers. So the area of government has a lot, you understand, to do when it comes to improving a standard of care.
Now, speaking of standard of care, let's talk about the intra-bound tourism as it stands. The government will say that they've done magnificently well in terms of providing healthcare facilities for Nigerians. But then, that's why I asked you, I was coming to the part of the government, that's why I asked you, how correct is it to say that facilitators only ensure that we have Africans travel out of the continent rather than bringing people into the continent to receive medical attention? Because the government will say that they've done magnificently well in terms of providing healthcare facility. You are a facilitator, you are a medical tourism expert and a specialist. Bring us up to speed. Let's get your reaction to the government's own side of this conversation.
Yeah, okay, a part of, the government.
Yes.
Now, why I said government has a
Have the government done magnificently well in terms of its intra-bound tourism? Let's talk about the intra-bound.
Not really. Not really. What I say not really is that if you have been to any public hospital, any government-owned hospital, you will know what I'm saying. At times, some patients queue almost the whole day to see a doctor. But unfortunately, at times, when we even leave hospital,
it's a universal thing. It's not just an African thing.
Yeah, without seeing,
it's a universal thing.
Without seeing a doctor. As you know, that we have a shortage of medical personnel in Nigeria. Day in, day out, our medical personnel are relocating abroad for greener pasture. And you and I know the reason why they are leaving. Apart of poor remuneration, some of them are incapacitated. They don't have access to sophisticated equipments to work with. Cutting-edge technology has made things easy for people all over the world. Let me even shock you. Do you know that some of our local healthcare service providers, I don't know whether they are comfortable with outdated practices. Last time I was trying to bring some team of surgeons to Nigeria for medical, for surgical and training camp. But they asked, Usman, is there any hospital in Nigeria that have gamma knife? Is there any hospital in Nigeria that have Sava knife? Is there any hospital in Nigeria that have flash reducer? And the answer is no. Because as we speak now, no hospital in Nigeria that have gamma knife machine, the latest technology that they are using to handle brain tumor. You know, most of countries, top-ranking medical tourism destinations have top open score to operate tumor. They use what we call gamma knife machine, and the machine use gamma ray. When they put the patient in the machine, the machine will identify where the tumor is, and the light will go there straight. Use gamma ray and go there and destroy the tumor and grind it to powder. You can operate patient today, tomorrow the patient is out of the hospital. So they say, Usman, for them to come to Nigeria and do this kind of procedure, we should look for hospitals that have so equipments. But unfortunately, some of our hospitals don't have some of these equipments. So it's one of the challenges we are facing. And that is the reason why we need investors to come in good number, both local and foreign investors. But what will make investors to come into our health sector, we don't have them. There are three things that investors are interested. And that is why even most of our banks, some of our banks don't want to loan healthcare service providers. The reason there is that if they loan them, it may happen that they may not be able to repay. And that is why you see at times some of our local healthcare service providers, they will go and collect loan and they cannot be able to pay back the loan, and the hospital will wind up and they will run away from this country. So investors are interested in three things. What are those things? One, where their capital will be secured, where the return on investment is guaranteed as at when due. And these three things, we are lacking them in our health sector. So, but that is why I say government need to provide enabling environment for our local healthcare service providers.
All right. Just before I let you go, because I'm basing that our time is fast spent. Nigerian Medical Association has taken the bull by the horn. And by so doing, this campaign of reverse medical tourism is going to African for African.
Stop using reversing medical tourism.
That's what they said. I never said that.
Like
African for
tourism.
Africa. That's what they said. And African for Africa. This campaign have started and it's going to go around the entire Africa. But when you look at this, what will be your recommendation to the Nigerian Medical Association and by extension, medical association partners and across Africa? What would be your recommendation in terms of looking at the whole concept around reverse medical tourism?
So what I have to say, if it is inbound, we need patients from abroad, and those that are going abroad to stay. What we need to do first is that, because they said problem known is problem solved. The first stage we need to, that is the first stage of it is that we should, is government, everything we are talking about now is government
starts
that has
and ends with the government.
Yes, because government need to provide enabling environment. Providing enabling environment for our local healthcare service providers, bringing supportive policy. A policy, what I mean by supportive policy, they should remove heavy tasks on some of or maybe import duty, or bringing equipment to Nigeria. At times you bring equipment to Nigeria, what you use to clear the equipment is even more than what you use to buy the equipment. So in this case, government has to provide enabling environment. Like as I said, there are two problems that are facing our health sector. One, the problem within the health sector, and the problem outside the health sector. Which one is the problem of problem outside the health sector? Problem of enabling environment. And government is responsible for that, to tackle the problem outside the health sector. Then the problem within the health sector, which is the problem of availability, affordability, accessibility, acceptability, lack of trust, attitude of medical personnel towards patients, medical negligence, medical malpractice, medication errors. So medical tourism can come and tackle problem within the health sector. That is why we call medical tourism solution in action, that that motivate the appeal of medical tourism.
Well, let's leave the conversation at that point. At this point, I want to say thank you so much, Issa Usman, for finding our time to be with us here on Korero.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Well, viewers, this is how far we can go tonight on the show. Don't forget that you can join the conversation across all our social media handle currently showing on your screen. And you can also follow us, like, and subscribe to our various channel. My name is Godwin Sunday. Always remember that peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Do enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye for now.